Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to take a look at a brand new model from Nitesun, the DIV02Pro. We're going to do a little bit of an unboxing, take a look at the light features, battery charger, what I can recommend you, what modes does it have. We're going to do some underwater testing, so we're going to take a look how the light performs in the underwater diving environment, as well as a little bit of a pros and cons at the end of the video. So let's get the video started. Alright guys, so in front of me you can already see the DIV02Pro, which is an improved version of the discontinued DIV02. I like that they again took out the design and made something a bit nicer out of the old one. The light itself, as you can see, it's actually quite small considering it has an output of 2000 lumens. It runs on two 18650 batteries, something I really enjoy. But what I like the most on this light, it is just made to be reliable. It has a mechanic rotary switch, we're going to take a look at that in a second, but there is no other opening, there is nothing else you can switch, you can change modes. There is one mode, it's either on or off, and this is the most important of them. Let's say the main thing I really enjoy on the light. We have a full aluminum body. I like the logo, it looks quite nice, there's a lot of spacing also for it. Smaller lights don't have that. We have some nice cooling fans for the actual LED heat, which gets dissipated from the LED. And of course in the front, if we take a look in the front, we have the beautiful Cree Xhp50.2 in the front. So I actually enjoy a lot this LED, the XHP series, no matter if it's the 50 or the 70. Of course the 70 everyone enjoys. It's just amazing what they put into such a small size array or chip. Even here we can have an output of up to 2500 lumens for the LED. The light itself offers us 2000 lumens, but still for a LED which has a 5x5 millimeter size, it's amazing the amount of light which can come out of it. So the LED is sitting very nicely in there. We can see the reflector again, as I say on every video basically. I love when it looks like this, all reflector nice and yellow. This means that they are well made one for each other, so we could say the actual light from the LED gets distributed very nicely and actually focused very nicely. And what I also enjoy a lot on the light is just basically, if we take a look inside, and I'll open the light now for you, is that we have a dual barrel system. This means we don't have only one back part where the actual batteries are sitting inside, but we have an inside tube, a second tube, where the actual negative pole passes. So there is no electricity at all on the outer body. This will prevent the light from having some kind of cathodic corrosion, which sometimes happens. Already happened to me. I already have a light with some holes in. What happened basically is that this kind of light, when they switch off by opening a little bit and not allowing a connection here in the front. But what happened in my case is that I had a light with some kind of scratch here and on the front part of the LED, and through the water there was a small amount of current flowing and it was actually eating up the aluminium, and like this problem is prevented. So they have a nice second tube inside where the negative pole comes all the way from the battery spring in the, well, we could say in the tail part of the light. In the front part we have a beautiful looking driver, and here's something I can tell you right away. You can see the spring on the positive pole, and this means we cannot use only the button top cells like this one, which come a little bit higher up, but we can also use the actual, let's say, genuine cells without a button top. So also those which don't come up a little bit out of the cell, you can also use on this light. So that makes it very flexible in terms of battery options. The batteries itself, they go in as usual negative first. The positive is usually always towards the driver. And before we close the light, just a quick look at the actual O-rings. And as you can see here, beautiful arrangement, 3 O-rings, a beautiful thread, very nice spacing in between the two, so the O-rings don't get cut through during the rotation. And again, very beautiful spacing, so that's something I really enjoy on this. Let's close the light, and it takes a few turns until the O-rings are just gone or disappeared, until the actual light is closed. Once the light is closed, the actual LED comes on, and we have an output of 2000 lumens, and it won't change. No matter how often you switch it off and on, the output is always 2000 lumens. So it's a very simple and easy made light, but it's therefore more reliable than others with a switch. In this case we have a nice spot, and this one is not as spotty as other lights. It has a very nice, still a concentrated amount of light, but it's not that spotty. So if you're diving in better conditions, not that bad of a visibility, inside of a wreck for example, I like a lot this kind of light because you see more. You not only have one focused spot where it's overexposed, or in this case too much light on a spot, no, but like this, it actually does a nice kind of still spot, but not too intense. So this one is actually quite good for wreck diving, cave diving, and I actually have a nice cave dive prepared for you on the actual video part, or underwater video part. So much about the light itself. When we come to the accessories, of course there's always a lanyard included, so one like this. I personally use some kind of small rope, where then I use a bolt snap, one like this, where I can fix the actual light onto and clip this to some kind of harness, or for example to my BCD. So that's something I can recommend all of you, but definitely if you don't have a bolt snap, or you definitely don't have another mounting system, well, use definitely the lanyard. It will just prevent you from losing the light. The most stupid thing you can do is go into the water without having the light fixed to you. I've seen many lights get lost like this, and that's, well, something preventable. We have a small user manual with us, and here we can see just some of the features I want to show you. 2000 lumens on high mode, so the only mode we have in this case. We have 1.5 hours of runtime. This is tested with batteries of around 3200, 3400 milliamp hours, so some like I've been using the NCR 18650s from Panasonic, the B version, and also we have a waterproof rate of up to 150 meters. So this one is very reliable, and in this case not only reliable but very flexible. No matter what kind of diving, I'm quite sure you won't go deeper than 150 meters in most cases. We have a spare kit of O-rings, so 3 O-rings that the light needs. Nice spare ones, so whenever they get used, worn out, you have the proper ones, the fitting ones. What I would recommend you though is for the O-rings to get some kind of dark storage. So don't store them at some UV light or something like this, because this will destroy the O-rings. They need a dark space inside an envelope or something like that, so they will last for a longer time until you really need them, because then when you need to change them they will also fall apart, and that's not really the idea behind it. So the light itself, I think we talked enough about it. There isn't much to talk. It's a light. It's there to provide a very reliable source of light and a simple switch on and off. Let's jump into the water and check out how the light performs in the underwater environment. And there I have a nice wreck dive and a nice cave dive prepared for you. So enjoy. Okay guys, so I hope you could get a better idea on how the Nitesun DIV02Pro will perform in the actual diving environment. And by the way, I hope you enjoyed the cave dive videos. It was a fun for me to dive it in the actual cave, because there I could really get a perception on how the light angle is on the light, because during a normal day dive you don't really get the perception. If you're diving in a cave or at night, then you're really getting it. And if you're doing this kind of diving, this light is quite good because it has quite a strong spill around. The spot is not that spotty, so that's already an advantage. And we have a nice spill around, which will give us a good amount of light when we're diving in the darkness. Pros and cons about the light. that was already the first one. The second pro I really enjoy in the light is just built to be very reliable. It's very robust. If you throw this thing around during all day, I'm quite sure at the end of the day it will still be working. It's just made like a tank, yeah? So it's really robust. There are no switches, no other penetrations where the water could go in. There is one opening, and again my recommendation, well, don't open and close it all dive long. Yeah, well, if you switch it on or off 2 or 3 times, well, it's okay, but ideally just turn it off before the dive and turn it off after, as it's always recommended. If you're using it as a backup light, well, it's not a problem to switch it on or off 2 or 3 times, as I said. Just don't do it 100 or 200 times, and slowly the water could start to penetrate. Together with this, as we are already talking about the O-rings and the waterproofness, I have one con about the light, and this one I really want to share with you. It's not a real con, you can prevent it, but you need to know how to do it. What happens is when the light is closed, the light comes on. If you open the light a little bit, like now on the surface, you don't need that much of an opening. But if you're going underwater now with the outside pressure, the air inside will let itself compress and the light will start to get pressed together. And the LED will come on. To prevent this from happening, just open the light a little bit further. And that won't happen anymore. Reason for this happening very simple. The threads are cut with a bit of a margin so you can move it. They can't be completely together. So this bit of a margin is letting the lights compress itself a little bit, and with that it might come on if you turn it off at the surface and go down underwater. So this is what can happen. To prevent it, just open it a bit further. My recommendation is open it between a quarter, just a little bit more than a quarter. And like this, it won't happen anymore. So it is a con, but it's not a real con if you know how to prevent it. Another pro I really enjoy on this light is definitely the LED. It looks beautiful sitting in there. I'm in general a very high fan, or a big fan of the Xhp series, and so I really enjoy looking at it. As I said, robust, small light, very powerful for the size, and a long runtime with 2 18650 batteries inside. As usual, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did so, give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to not miss out on any of the future videos. And as usual, dive safely and see you next time.